Oh, hello. So here I am at the store. There's a Swiffer right there. That's some pictures by Doug Pagosh. Good stuff. Anyways, I'm here at the store, bored out of my mind, and thought, I'll do another little filler video here. This time showing off my movie collection, and in fact, how I've organized my movie collection. Because here at the store, I've brought like pretty much all of my classic horror and sci-fi movies, and have them here behind the shelf so I can watch them on the TV that I have here at the store. And thought maybe some people are interested in seeing what I have and how I've organized it all as well, how I've condensed the size down so that I can fit my entire collection behind the desk here. So let's have a look at that. So I'll begin over at this side here, starting with my Universal Monsters. So what I do is this is like a weird little hobby almost. I'm kind of OCD. I like my collections looking like proper collections. So what I do is I actually order in these multi-pack cases for movies, and then I use Photoshop. I design very minimalistic packages for these. Like my own personal aesthetic is like Gothic Revival and Queen Anne Victorian and like American Craftsman style are my favorite styles. But when it comes to DVDs, whatever, it's pretty minimalistic. And then I just condense these as much as possible. So, for example, in this one here, I've got the Blu-rays. So this is the Universal Monster Blu-ray set. So these are all of the Frankenstein, Dracula, and Wolfman movies in there from the 30-disc or 30-movie Legacy Collection. So that's there, and just going on down the list here, I've got these. So I'm going to end up pulling all these out, aren't I? So Phantom, this is the 2-disc Kino Blu-ray, which is fan-freaking-tastic. It's got the 1925 version, the 1929 sort of re-edit version, and some of the sound excerpts and so on. If you're going to get any Phantom of the Opera, this is the one to get. I've reached that point in my life now where I've graduated from, getting the bargain basement, public domain, DVDs of silent movies, and actually wanting to get proper restorations with, soundtracks and bonus features and all that sort of stuff. So the Kino Phantom of the Opera Blu-ray is amazing, and that's the 1940s version of Phantom of the Opera that was included in the Universal Legacy Collection sets there, which is pointless. So, and then this is the Kino Hunchback of Notre Dame, 1923, and the little booklet that comes with it as well. So that's what goes in the Phantom set. Hunchback gets in there because it's Lon Chaney. But if I ever do, one movie I've been meaning to get a copy of is The Man Who Laughs. In which case, that might force me to put Hunchback and Man Who Laughs together because those are Victor Hugo movies. This is how I think. So, I put these together in ways that make sense to me. So, 2 Victor Hugo dramas would make sense. But right now, Hunchback's in there because it's Lon Chaney. That's all the Creature movies. So this is a little 2-disc slim case there. So there's all the Universal Legacy there's. Old Dark House. These are the Kino DVDs for both the Old Dark House, which is like one of the best. That and The Black Cat are the 2 best non-monster Universal Monster movies, in my opinion. And then The Cat and the Canary, 1927, very similar style of movie, that sort of Old Dark House mystery kind of thing. Werewolf of London and She-Wolf of London. There's all the Mummy movies from the Legacy Collection, Invisible Man movies from Legacy Collection. This one is actually these are the DVDs, the Bela Lugosi franchise collection, which is this disc right here, and the Boris Karloff franchise collection DVDs. So I have been upgrading my collection to Blu-ray. I'm tempted to get the Blu-rays for the movies that are on here, but again, I don't really want to pay it's $75 Canadian to buy those Universal Horror Blu-ray sets from Shout. So I'm a little bit slow on doing that, especially since the later ones are not worth that kind of money. Like the set with the Black Cat and the Raven and stuff. That one I would potentially be willing to pay $75 for. The set with like Captive Wild Woman, not really. Even though that's that's something missing from my collection. I don't have all of the Captive Wild Woman movies. So this one is actually the Universal Classic Sci-Fi Ultimate Collection DVD set that came out some time ago. Tarantula, Mole People, Incredible Shaky Man, Moth Monsters, Monster on the Campus, Dr. Cyclops, Cult of the Cobra, Land Unknown, Deadly Mantis, Leech Woman, and then supplemented with the individual DVDs of This Island Earth and It Came from Outer Space. So that's the sci-fi movies go in there with the Metaluna Mutant there on the cover. And then finally, we've got Universal Studios Classic Horror. This is, again, just my general, that's what's in it. So these are various sets. That's the Universal Horror DVD set that has Night Monster, Captive Wild Woman, and Black Cat, Man Monster Horror Island. Came in that set. Curse of the Undead, that was just an individual DVD there, which is it's an interesting little horror western. As sort of just it's not a great movie, but it's an interesting sort of odd one out of Universal Monsters. Thing That Couldn't Die, DVD. And then TCM, a long time ago, put out this Universal cult classics or cult horror collection or something like that. So got Mad Ghoul, House of Horrors, Dr. RX, and The Mad Doctor of Market Street came in that set. So those all go together into this Universal Studios Classic Horror thing. So yeah, I like to organize and condense as much as possible for all of these guys here to get them into groupings that make sense, whether that's like, all of the random horror ones that don't have a home, or old Dark House movies, Invisible Man, mostly by monster. That's the Universal Monster one. And for that one, I've got Universal Monster logo there along with that, and that little logo in the front. Then we get to the non-Universal ones. So these ones, oh god, it's going top down. There's Psycho, just DVD of Psycho, whatever. There, Paramount Pictures Classic Sci-Fi. This was a tough one. Like, is it horror or sci-fi? But old DVD of the 1931 Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Criterion DVD of Island of Lost Souls, War of the Worlds. So they started blending it with the 50s sci-fi, so that's where it got sci-fi, because technically you could say that Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Island of Lost Souls are science fiction. This is actually a new Blu-ray I picked up by Shout. Doubleheader, Conquest of Space, and I Married a Monster from Outer Space. Ironically enough, I Married a Monster from Outer Space was the A-list movie to which The Blob was the B-list movie on a double feature. And today, of course, The Blob is the one everybody remembers. But that's that, and room for one more. So if I ever get another Paramount Pictures movie, that can go in this set. I mean, see, I also them together by Studio as well that makes them. Complete Val Luton for RKO. So this is that box set that came out quite some time ago. Managed to pick up one of those. So there we go. Cat People, of course, Cat People, Walk the Zombie, Body Snatcher, and so on. And if there's another Val Luton movie I didn't know about, there we go. That can go in there. But Val Luton, excellent for sort of low budget atmospheric horror. So not low budget cheesy horror, low budget atmospheric horror, working with what he had. Charles Laughton, Hunchback of Notre Dame DVD. It's hard to say which version of Hunchback of Notre Dame is best, right? Because this is a great movie, and Charles Laughton was born to play the role of Quasimodo. Lon Chaney version is silent classic, right? Marion C. Cooper, She. This is the DVD. The Ray Harryhausen collection or whatever it was. With the colorized version, but I don't watch the colorized version because why would you do that to yourself? And then also I have the bootleg pressing sort of the 1925 version of She, so that goes in there with that. King Kong. So this is, I'm looking to upgrade to this one to Blu-ray especially, since, King Kong fan. But that's the old 2-disc set there that came out a while ago. And Son of Kong. And a space for Most Dangerous Game. When I finally get a copy of that, that's going to go in there. Lost World, I have a couple versions of that one. So that's the Black Hawk Films Image DVD. and then this is the LumaVision. So this is I mean, I could go on about this. So there was for a long time, there was only ever an hour-long edited version of the 1925 Lost World. That's what's on this. And then Image came along, and Black Hawk Films, and did this restoration of it that is about an hour and a half. So that's what that one is. DVD of Arsenic and Old Lace. Warner Bros. Classic Sci-Fi. So got Robbie the Robot there. That's what's in it, more or less. Yeah, them, Forbidden Planet Blu-ray, which has the Invisible Boy on it, which is not so much an Invisible Man story. I also have the Black Scorpion, but it's actually in the player right now. Time Machine, and then the 58 version of From the Earth to the Moon. MGM Warner Brothers Classic Horror, right there. So these ones, yeah, Village of the Damned, House of Wax, The Haunting. What's on this disc as well? Oh, the Spencer Tracy, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which is a fairly useless film. Little extra space there if I could get another one. And then this box set that came out, again, some time ago, Mark of the Vampire, Mask of Fu Manchu, which is one I do not watch at the store, because it's a little bit racially insensitive, shall we say. Dr. X, Return of Dr. X, Mad Love, and Devil Doll, which are great movies. Mark of the Vampire, I mean, Mask of Fu Manchu, of course, you have to have that asterisk about racial sensitivity. But Mark of the Vampire, especially great film. That's not a bad film. And Mad Love are excellent, excellent films. And we get to the Columbia sets there. So this is what I have for Ray Harryhausen right now. Earth vs. Flying Saucers, Mysterious Island, First Men in the Moon, and Valley of Gwangi. I'm working on getting more Ray Harryhausen. For a long time, I've had sort of a resentment of Harryhausen because he is, in many times, in many interviews, trashed on the original Godzilla as being like a rip-off of Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, even though it's a far better movie than Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. So it took me a while to sort of like forgive Ray Harryhausen for that. William Castle. This one is it's a bunch of sets, mostly put up by Mill Creek, but I'm getting into him. So 13 Ghosts, 13 Frightened Girls, Mr. Sardonicus Homicidal, The Old Dark House, his version of that, which is, not that great. Need these to watch 13 Ghosts, because this is a case, William Castle, well known for his gimmicks, right? But you can't really get the gimmick for the tingler. That depends on having a chair that buzzes underneath you. But 13 Ghosts, if you have a pair of red-blue 3D glasses, you can actually replicate the effect. You just look through the different eyes, depending on if you want to see the ghosts or not see the ghosts. And if you do that, it actually changes the movie as well. If you watch it without the ghosts, it's like a psychological thriller about a family descending into madness. If you watch it with the ghosts, then it's, of course, about a family being haunted. The Tingler, the Vincent Price collection, I actually bought for House on Haunted Hill, but it also includes, what else, which are not William Castle films. Last Man on Earth, Shock, The Bat and the Jackals, none of which are William Castle movies. I bought it to get House on Haunted Hill, and this other ones are just a nice bonus. And then Mill Creek also put out this collection of William Castle westerns as well. So I've been kind of watching my way through that, and they go in there with William Castle, so I can condense all of that down into one standard DVD case size. And then Boris Karloff, this is a Mill Creek collection. Right here, another Mill Creek one with just basically a bunch of these horror movies that, horror and thriller movies that Boris Karloff made for Columbia Pictures. So that's all of those ones right there. And yeah, it's, in the modern media environment where it's all about these franchises and, I don't have a lot of, I've mentioned this in live streams, I don't have a lot of faith in Hollywood. I've kind of just like stopped caring and stopped paying attention to Hollywood because I don't need to, because there's so much good stuff that's already come out. So for me, it's not like, MCU or whatever. For me, it's like getting into Val Lewton or getting into William Castle. That's what counts as a franchise for me now, is finding these directors or, franchise like Universal Monsters, tracking down those last Universal Monster movies I don't have yet, that kind of thing. That's what interests me now. It's not the things that they tell me to be interested in, Disney remakes and so on. Old Kino DVD of Nosferatu, Kino DVD of Metropolis, and then we got my Toho movies. And most of these are from the Criterion Collection Blu-ray set. H-Man, that's actually from a Sony set that included Mothra in it. The Icons of Sci-Fi Toho collection. I would be more than happy if somebody came out with the complete Human Transformation series. I would love that. But yeah, like Godzilla here, this is just the Criterion Blu-ray set, and then an old documentary thing there. Battle Outer Space. This one is again one disc on that Toho collection, and then the Tokyo Shock DVD there. So that's what most of my collection is. In fact, it's either going to be Tokyo Shock, the odd Sony one, or Criterion collection. So there's got Mothra, and then the Criterion set there. Frankenstein is Tokyo Shock. Atragon is Tokyo Shock. King Kong, we've got the Rankin Bass King Kong Escapes DVDs, and then the Universal King Kong Escapes DVD. And then Destroy All Monsters, this is more Criterion. And then rest, yeah, this is just those Doggerest Space Amoeba, that's Tokyo Shock, and then Criterion. And then these are the Mill Creek Blu-rays for Ultra Q and Ultra Man, the complete series for those two. And that's where I'm stopping with those two as well, because there's an awful lot of Ultraman out there. And I like Ultraman well enough. I love Ultra Q. Ultra Q is like one of my favorite TV shows ever. It's like that and Twilight Zone. And they're very similar shows. But for Ultraman, it's like I like the original Ultraman show well enough, but not enough to want to catch up on 50 years worth of Blu-rays or whatever. Then we got some more mixed bag here. This is just a random cheapo DVDs that have those movies on it. I wouldn't mind actually getting some better versions of like Carnival of Souls, for example, especially, which I think is actually one of my favorite horror movies because it's got that perfect, just creepy atmosphere. But yeah, it's like these platinum horror classics. Whatever. We've got this random cheapo Bela Lugosi set that has. I do a lot of scrounging at like thrift shops and flea markets and stuff, so that random one has White Zombie, Corpse Vanishes, and One Body Too Many on it. This is the Passport Ed Wood collection. So, this one has, I mean, pretty much like most of his movies that he's known for, but they're not very good prints. So I'd like to get the Wade Williams Ed Wood box set. Although, I mean, that one has the Angora fur box. So I don't know if I'd want to reduce its size. But that's, I would like to get nicer prints, at least, especially Plan 9. Plan 9 is one of my favorite movies, right? This is just some bootleg spooky cartoons DVD that has mostly Mickey Mouse Symphonies and then Popeye and Betty Boop on it. And then some hints at my Disney ones. These are not all of my movies, right? These are just my horror and sci-fi movies. If we go to my house, in fact, here, I'll pop in some footage right now. But you go to my house and I have, my classic musicals and comedies and sort of adventure movies and an entire section of Disney movies that I've got, with their own cases and stuffed in their own ways. And I can show that full thing off sometime if anybody's interested, even in this video. The dozens of people that might actually watch this video. So going back to the store now here. Here I brought my set that I've got my Jules Verne movies in. So this is the old Disney 2-disc 20,000 Leagues DVD, 20th Century Fox, Journey to the Center of the Earth, Search the Castaways. What's that one? That one's 5 Weeks in a Balloon, is the 20th Century movie. And then Eye on the Top of the World, I just threw that in there because it kind of fits and it needed a space. To get that out of the way, Day the Earth Stood Still gets a Disney package because it's Fox. The Fly, the Fly box set is there again in the Disney collection because it's 20th Century Fox and Disney bought Fox. Young Frankenstein DVD. And then we've got American International pictures down here. So these are all of the Midnight Movies DVDs that were put out a million years ago by MGM, and they're all double-sided DVDs, which makes it fun to try and figure out what's on what. And then I also got this print-on-demand Master of the World. So that's all that's in here. So this is the full Roger Corman, Vincent Price series of Edgar Allan Poe movies, and Poe-related movies as well, more or less, and Master of the World. So that's all of those. And then I have this Roger Corman, this set here. So these are by Popflix. Put out these sets. So Little Shop of Horrors, Terror, Dementia 13, She Gods of Shark Reef, Swamp Women, Attack the Giant Leeches, Wasp Women, Creature of the Haunted Sea, Bucket of Blood, Last Woman on Earth. Popflix also put out another Roger Corman set that has things like Fast and the Furious on it, like the original one. So I'm tempted to get that one as well, just to get all three sets, and to round out my assortment of just random Roger Corman movies, really. This one, when I find the Frankie and Annette Beach Party movies by American International, I do pick them up. So that's Beach Party. I'm tempted to get the full box set of them, but I have to also make a decision about like how much is that me actually liking these movies, and how much is it of me just sort of like having them on in the background at the store as like, oh yeah, it's kind of Beach Party, like it kind of fits the mid-century milieu, like that kind of thing. So we'll see if I bother getting more of those. And then these are just more of the same, more of these American International B movies and things like that. So we've got The Man with the X-Ray Eyes with Ray Milland, because he's amazing. I love Ray Milland as an actor. Invisible Invaders, Journey to the Seventh Planet. Actually, I forgot I had those. That's what happens when you have a very large collection, is you forget what you have. So I have the Invisible Invaders, Journey to the Seventh Planet. Okay, cool. And then Rankin Bass, Mad Monster Parties here at the store. But I do have like all of their movies. So at home I have like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and Year Without a Santa Claus, and I have all those movies. And every year I break them out. Actually, no. I always watch Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer every year at Christmas. And then the other ones, it tends to be kind of like alternating years. This year I'll watch all those Santa Claus movies, next year I won't, kind of thing. But I tend to alternate with those. Otherwise, it's a lot of stuff I'm watching. But as far as like Christmas goes, that's my viewing habits belong to Rankin Bass. So putting all these guys back here, and then that's sort of it for what I have for my movies that I've done the custom cases and stuff for here at the store. What else I have here? I've got Lost Skeleton Cadavra, which, if you've never seen, is a freaking amazing movie. Lost Skeleton Cadavra is great. Monster Squad I put on now and then. The Complete Twilight Zone DVD there. Occasionally I pop in Elvis Presley, Aloha from Hawaii, and Addams Family DVDs there. And what else have I got over here? That's my remote for the Martian animatronic, just in case I need some 3D or X-ray glasses there. And then this is a great little book as well I keep here. John Stanley's Creature Features Movie Guide. This is an old book, which is perfect. Found it for free at like a local, one of those like, take a book, leave a book kind of libraries. This one is 1981. So it only has some like the earliest slasher movies in it. Otherwise, it's like all old movies, which is perfect for just flipping through and seeing what sounds good, checking off what I already have, what I've seen, that sort of thing. These old guides, if you're into old movies, are indispensable, because they'll tell you so much about what like the information, it's out there on the internet, but nobody's really compiled it. So these old books, pre-internet books, especially ones that predate modern slasher horror, are absolutely invaluable for building your collection of old classic horror, sci-fi, A-listers, and B-movies. So if you can find books like these old movie guides, like that's what you want to do. So anyways, that's my movie collection. Again, buying these very like slim 2 disc cases, 4 disc, 6 disc, and the thick ones are the 8 disc things. Finding those, standardizing my collection because I'm super OCD, and if I have to shrink down the size so I can fit this many movies in here, like this alone is like, how many movies do we go through? One, how many discs? One, that's like 6 discs. That's like 6 discs. To another disc, that's two. Like I've got like, God, 100 plus movies just in this little thing under here. As condensed as much as possible, as condensed as I can get it, so I can fit them all in here. And if I ever have to take them home, if I close down the store, then they can at least fit on my shelf at home as well, and have enough room for that. I started actually this habit when I got married, because I had a fairly sizable movie collection before I got married, and realizing like, oh, now my wife's movies are going to be added into mine. We don't have space for all that, so I better condense mine down. And sometimes I curate as well. Like, am I really going to watch all of the Frankie and Annette Beach Party movies? Probably not. So condense that down. I did have here at the store as well. I actually had like 2 sets of Elvis movies, but realizing that other than having them on in the background in the store, I'm never really going to sit down and watch them, like as though Fun in Acapulco is a great piece of cinema or something like that. So yeah, I do periodically curate, decide what I actually want to keep, what I want to watch, and what is just on in the background. But yeah, try and condense these down as much as possible so that I can fit them all in. Ordering these blank DVD cases so that I can organize them all. And that's what I have right now for my horror, sci-fi, kaiju collections, and so on. There you go. Hopefully you found this interesting, inspiring. I don't know, whatever. Let's look into what my actual collection is of movies that I have hard copies of, shall we say.